In the summer of 1518, a woman walked into the street and began to dance. There was no music, no festival, no reason. She danced for hours, then for days. She could not stop. Within a month, 400 people were dancing with her, and some of them would dance until they died. This really happened. It is written in the town records, and to this day, no one is completely sure why. The city was Strasbourg in the summer of 1518, a crowded town of narrow streets and tall timber houses, and it was about to witness the strangest plague in history. It began with one woman. History remembers her as Frau Troffea. One July morning, she stepped outside and started to move. She swayed, she twirled, she danced, silently, alone. Her husband begged her to stop. She could not. She danced through the morning, through the night, into the next day. Her feet bled, her body screamed, and still she danced. For nearly a week, she did not truly rest. And then something impossible happened. Her dancing spread like it was catching. Within days, more than 30 people had joined her. Within a month, the number passed 400, men and women, young and old, all dancing, all trapped. They did not look happy, they looked terrified, and here is the eerie part. This had happened before. For centuries, dancing plagues had erupted along the river Rhine. In 1374, thousands danced through town after town in a spreading frenzy. Whatever this was, it had haunted Europe for generations. This was not joyful dancing, it was a prison inside their own bodies. They danced through the day and could not stop at night. Some cried out for help while their legs kept moving. They collapsed, rested for moments, then rose and danced again. And then, according to the chronicles, they began to die. Bodies gave out from sheer exhaustion. Others fell to strokes and heart attacks, dancing too hard for too long. By some frightening accounts, many were dying every single day. One chronicle claims 15 people a day at the height of the madness. A whole town was watching its people dance themselves to death. So the panicked city called in its doctors, and here is where the story becomes truly unbelievable. The doctors ruled out sin. They ruled out the stars. They decided the cause was overheated blood in the body, and the cure for dancing, they declared, was more dancing. They believed the victims simply had to dance the fever out. So the city did something we can barely believe today. They built the dancers a wooden stage. They hired musicians, pipers and drummers to play along. They even paid healthy dancers to keep the sick ones moving. They poured fuel onto the fire and called it medicine. Predictably, it made everything far, far worse. So step back and ask the real question: what could do this? What makes hundreds of ordinary people dance until their hearts stop? For centuries, the favorite answer was poison, specifically a fungus that grows on damp rye, ergot. Ergot contains chemicals related to the drug LSD. Eat the wrong bread and you might convulse and hallucinate. For a long time, that felt like a tidy explanation. But there is a serious problem with the poison theory. Ergot chokes off blood flow. It rots fingers and toes. You cannot dance for days on a poison that starves your limbs, and a whole crowd would not all be poisoned into the same dance. The poison in the bread was probably never the real killer. To find the real cause, you have to feel what 1518 was like, because Strasbourg that year was living through hell. Harvests had failed. The people were starving. Disease was everywhere. Smallpox, plague, and worse, a frightening new disease, syphilis, was creeping across Europe. The winters were bitter, and the cold gnawed at everyone. Death and fear pressed on the town from every side. These were people stretched to the very edge of their minds, and they carried one more thing, a terrifying belief. They believed in a saint named Vitus, and that an angry Saint Vitus could curse you by forcing your body to dance without end. Everyone knew the story. Everyone feared it. Everyone believed, and that belief may be the real key to everything. Doctors today have a name for it: mass psychogenic illness. Extreme stress can turn a fear of the mind into real physical symptoms. And in a crowd, that fear can jump from person to person, not like a germ, like an idea, like panic. One terrified, exhausted mind cracks and begins to dance. The crowd, primed by belief and dread, follows without deciding to. The dance was not in the bread, it was in the mind. And if you think we have outgrown this, think again. In 1962, in Tanzania, laughter broke out in a girls' school. It spread from student to student, then from school to school. Thousands were affected. Schools closed for months. No poison was ever found. The human mind can still do this. It never stopped. It sounds impossible that thoughts could kill a body, but your mind controls your body far more than you would like to think. Panic alone can stop a heart. Belief alone can move a limb. These people were not faking. Their suffering was completely real. Their own terrified minds had hijacked their bodies. So how do you cure a plague that lives inside belief? In the end, the answer was belief. 2. The dancers were finally taken to a shrine of Saint Vitus. There, priests prayed over them and asked the saint for mercy. And slowly, as strangely as it began, the dancing stopped. The same belief that lit the fire was used to put it out. For centuries we searched the bread for a poison, but the poison was never in the bread. It was in fear and grief, and a shared idea too strong to resist. The most dangerous thing in that town was a belief. We like to think we are creatures of cold, clear reason, but we are shaped, far more than we admit, by the people around us. And that is the part that should make you a little uneasy, because the same mind that danced them to death is the same kind of mind you are using right now. A whole town once danced itself